Hello everyone, I am Dovei, and this time I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy VI. The SNES version. I mean, the other versions are cool. I like the PS1 version because, you know, adding the run button, whatever, but GBA version music's terrible. Anyway, this is absolutely my favorite game of all time. And, you know, even though it's an RPG, I'm still going to be playing it for YouTube because it's just my favorite game ever. I wanted to play this right off the bat, honestly, but I wanted to do a few series first to kind of get used to everything, kind of make myself a little more comfortable here. You'll have to excuse me if I sound a little off. I'm also getting over a cold, but, you know, it's besides the point. This particular game, I have a lot of history with this game. If this game could talk, the stories it would tell. It was the very first Super Nintendo game I played that didn't have Mario in the title. You know, also, you know, not counting Pong or whatever. You know, I don't want to say real games because Mario's a real game, but this was my first RPG. This is one of the first games to truly enthrall me. You know, in terms of playing video games, it's just everything about this game. When I first played it as a kid, it just kind of hit all the right spots with me, because, you know, my reflexes aren't the best. Anyone who's watched me stream knows that. Anyway, I digress. I'm probably going to be a lot more chill and laid back and a little casual whatever in this game, because this game is just kind of home for me. It's like I'm just kind of curling up in an armchair by the fire, watching some armored mechs go to my next door neighbor's town. You know, it's just one of those things. And, you know, the two of the mechs are, you know, completely worthless random soldiers that I'm probably going to kill by the thousands later on, and then this currently unnamed enslaved mage in a world where magic is dead and technology is thriving. And we're off to find we're off to find this Esper that is allegedly somewhere in this town or whatever. I'm pretty sure the villagers will just hand it over without a fight, you know? I mean, we are the Empire. That's just kind of, you know, empires are generally met with little resistance, right? Ted Weasley, you're an okay guy. This game turned out pretty good. Storyline-wise, there, you know, whatever. Okay, now we're getting into the actual gameplay part of the game. I wanted to include the intro because the intro is just the intro. You know, this is an RPG. It's a storyline kind of thing. First thing I'm gonna do, very first thing before anything else, let's do some menu bullcrap. Won't take long. It's good enough. Actually, do I have? Okay, battle speed's fine. Message. That's good enough. And I probably won't touch the menu again for a while. Let the soldier take point. Screw what they said. I'm also gonna fight this dog. Now, the beginning of the game, as you're about to see in about 2 seconds. 1, 2. Severely overpowered. These mechs kind of augment my ability to kill things in very massive ways. This is a pretty good way to get used to the battle system when you're pretty much not invincible. Well, the enemies do some damage, just not a whole lot. But it's a pretty good way to be like, hey, get used to the system by killing everything in one hit and get a little more comfortable in your skin. Okay, cool. I haven't done much with this lady yet. We'll be exploring more of her options later. The two nameless guys got a level. I'm tired of looking at your sprite. That's much better. Hey, look, some more dogs and some more soldiers. Narsha's freedom. We're just here to pick up some ice cubes. Let's use some ice beam on the snow. That's effective. Hey, look, we got a lot of options here. Get to those later. Instead, I'm just gonna zap a puppy. By the way, if PETA decides to say anything bad about me, take that act over to some lions in the Sahara and you need to throw some buckets of blood on them and tell me how it turns out for you when you're done. No, I'll wait. That seems like a good time to break out some more of these other options that we didn't have before. Let's try this Bioblast. That sounds interesting. It also looks like it hits all the enemies. It also, speaking of looks like, oh man, am I seeing some pretty colors or what? I probably need to avoid mirrors for the next couple hours or so. Not sleeping for the next week. Cool. That was Bioblast. It's poison damage all enemies, etc. Oh, another tutorial. The SNES era is probably the best of tutorials in the sense that it's forgiving in how it teaches you, but not handholdy about it. And then you on that side can just go die. For example, teaching about pincer attacks by having the enemies very stupidly declare what they're going to do before they do it, in the sense that, you know, it also is giving you one of the easiest battles on the planet to teach you that, hey, you might get attacked by both sides. And as far as I know, this is the first game in the series to do that. You know, pincer attacks and whatnot. And it works for you too. You can also ambush enemies in this fashion, and pretty much guaranteed win in a random battle if it happens. I think there's only 1 or 2 bosses that give you that advantage, though. God, I remember one, but whatever. It's not important. What is important? These 2 numbuddies keeping our people alive so that our Magitech Armored Witch, as they called her, I think that's a little rude, personally. But while she destroys the enemies, these 2 red shirts can just kind of, you know, keep the rest of us alive. That sounds like a plan to me, gentlemen. Seems like people are just kind of human characters and enemies in this series just tend to be weak against everything. They're like professional wrestling referees. They're just weak to everything. So now we're going in a cave. I think our ice tray is left here in the freezer or something. It's found in a mine shaft. This is the only mine shaft accessible, so naturally it has to be this one. Not scripted, random encounter, and ooh, nice enough to demonstrate my point for me. Yeah, I'll just... whatever. Firebolt Ice Beam on these rats. I would use Bioblaster, but they absorb poison. See, I know a little bit about this game. Those rats absorb poison. Now, see that thing over there on the left? I'm going to be totally ignoring it for the moment. Because, you know, if I need to use that right now, I'm in trouble already. Nameless Soldier B, go ahead and knock down that gate for me. If you could, please. Thank you. Rightio. Good job, Red Shirt. Your death in a couple minutes will be... oh, hey, different colored guard. Boss. I know this song. It's my ringtone. Another thing, boss quirks. Yeah, like this one's teaching me that if I attack the shell, I'm going to get my ass handed to me on a silver platter. So don't attack the shell. Now that seems easy enough, right? You know, just kind of fire attacks at the head until it dies. That seems like the easiest thing ever, doesn't it? There's just one little problem with that, which will become very evident here in a moment. Speaking of, actually, off topic, I've played a sarcastic air quotes hard type of this hack. There we go. I knew I was right to wait. So the problem with just attacking its head is it likes to hide in its shell. And any attacks you have launched, you know, right before it does that, it's gonna hit the shell, and it's gonna, you know, counterattack. I think one of the versions of this game it's possible to kill the shell, though. I haven't actually tried. Alright, Whelk, any second now. I'm not getting any younger here. I'm not gonna name these guys. I know they have names, but nameless is funnier. I'm not gonna name these guys in the time it takes you to, you know, grab lunch inside your shell or whatever. These 2 fire beams should do it, actually. Only about 1,500. If that doesn't, this will. There we go. Boss down. That is Whelk. Cornerstone, typical FF boss of, you know, you're gonna attack it for a second, then you're gonna stop, or it's gonna counterattack. See, you know, the not guard armor, scorpion armor of FF7. Ifrit didn't do that in FF8. The guard wing or whatever in FF5, and the Miz Dragon of FF4. You may have seen it. It's kind of a rare image. I don't have it posted everywhere as my thumbnail ever or anything. Hello, useless Esper. This is this is presented as a boss fight with in-battle cutscenes. This is another thing I like. In-battle cutscenes. Our lady friend here is approaching it because, you know, magic and magic tend to get along pretty well. Goodbye, nameless soldier B. Thanks for knocking down, or A, thanks for knocking down that gate. Goodbye, B. Have fun being useless. Goodbye, armored mech. I will miss you very greatly. So the useless Esper that has no bearing on the plot except for one other part and is totally annoying has decided to blow up our mech. And now we're asleep. Or knocked out or something. Hey look, an old guy. I'm just going to completely ignore his existence for a moment. I'm going to sleepwalk my way over to this elixir, this grandfather clock, steal an elixir, and then promptly march my way back to bed. Good night.